Rouge is responsible for many of the things that go on in our city that people remember, and responsible for inspiring me. So that's always a cool thing too. So
I never knew that. Thanks, Steve. Okay, logical absurdities. That's what we call urban projects that seem absurd, light, and witty, but at heart, they're really based in a logical urbanism. So logical absurdities are what inspire my partner Henning and myself. Conversely, we often observe rather mediocre urban spaces that are the result of absurd logic. And absurd logic often stems from formulaic thinking that leads to generic solutions and from focusing on urban decoration over spatial qualities and unique characteristics of a place. Wow, I talk way faster than I do at home. So we run a nonprofit organization called Urban Republic and a for-profit firm called PH5 Architecture. Urban Republic is a vehicle to develop and test new ideas through temporary urban installations. We're interested in the role that design plays in setting up opportunities for social engagement and how good design and public participation can amplify the identity of place. And this slide is taken at the Gay Pride Parade, and all sorts of things can happen in a city that you don't expect. Okay, I'll be slowing down pretty soon. Anyways, this kind of thinking about the city is not new, and it goes back to the 60s counterculture and groups like Archigram. And through witty pop-inspired images like this, they critique the sterility of rationalized planning and offered up new urban scenarios. So this one shows a city before an intervention. You can notice the blimp coming in. And here it arrives with high intensity, and it drops in all these temporary urban installations that activate the city. And once the blimp leaves, local networks take over and continue that activation. So the notion of sparking people's imagination about what could happen in the city is core to the work my partner and I do. So people drive cars, therefore people need parking. But do we need vast areas of land to be exclusively dedicated to parking 24 hours a day? We don't think so, and we think that's absurd logic. The Rebar Group in San Francisco reconsidered metered parking as open space available for short-term rent. Parking Day participants reprogram parking areas into spaces for public recreation. And this project initiates a dialogue about the value of public spaces and how we choose to use them. The demand for parking tends to be cyclical. And for example, many downtown parking lots are full during the day and empty at night. Urban Republic reimagined this space in this underutilized parking garage as a drive-in, and the project temporarily expanded the public realm in a neighborhood that has a shortage of outdoor recreational space. The film series was themed Vancouver Stars as itself and screened shorts and features by BC filmmakers, including David Ray, who's here tonight. Addition to being just an entertaining night out, it was also an exploration of Vancouver's identity through the eyes of our filmmakers. Okay, sorry about this, Andrew, but it seems that community gardens are the new cure-all for the city. While well-intentioned, putting community gardens on land slated for development seems to be absurd logic to us. It neglects to take into account that it takes years of hard work and patience to grow a garden. By the time the garden becomes established, it will be demolished. In the right context, community gardens can be a great asset. This garden at Pine and Burrard, it's located along an informal greenway that at some point might become an established greenway to Granville Island. And each individual planted a tree on their plot, so as the garden matures, it'll become an orchard. So community gardens are amenities to both the gardeners and to the broader community. This is an installation that some friends and my partner and I did. It's just a small sound and video installation, and it was in celebration of their harvest. And it welcomed passersby. Okay, so time and resources are spent on street banners, yet in a city like ours where there's tons of construction, we pay little attention to construction areas, which have a huge impact on the city. This is a project in Tokyo. It's it's near Shinjuku Station, and it's an interactive media fence. So people could write into the official website and choose the colors for the future of Shinjuku area. And in this construction fence, they use the colors that people voted on to light up the thing. Soup design. This is another construction fence in Tokyo, and they took the materials from the construction site and chopped them into bits and displayed them in the case. And so it makes the construction process visible. And it also tells you about how much they're using and identifies the type of materials. And now my cards are totally mixed up. Okay. This plane of paving was intentionally designed as a pedestrian plaza. So one would suppose that they hope people would use it. It's a sunny location. It's adjacent to a busy sidewalk, and it's on the sunny side of the street. But few are drawn into its drab space. Red rubber carpet seems absurd. But this is completely transformed an awkward space between buildings in St. Gallen, Switzerland, and the odd-looking balloons light up at night. So illuminated balloons caught between buildings temporarily transformed this Vancouver alley into a viable public space. And the installation was the result of international competition won by 2 Japanese architects. And my partner and I were involved in the installation and the organization of the competition. So people always ask us, why do we do this? And these seemingly absurd, whimsical projects that I've shown tonight, they're not about shallow gimmicks to us. We embrace these logical absurdities as a means to bring joy, delight, and a sense of optimism to our public spaces. Thanks.